Okay, so continuing with this shopping mall directory app that I'm continuing to build out step by step for you guys. This video I'm going to show how I would put an add-on into my application. So what is an add-on? An add-on is basically a way to extend the data of a single request. So if you've never heard of GraphQL before, GraphQL is something that Facebook developed for their Facebook posts because they have all this different information coming back through one request. They have the number of likes, the comments, the count of comments, the relationship with the poster, and the list goes on. So in order to make a more performant system, Facebook needed a way to grab all that information through one single request, because if you're doing multiple requests, it's really going to tax the system. So they came up with GraphQL. So add-ons are essentially the same idea, but in a REST API, which is the APIs we use at Xano. Now for my shopping mall directory app, in my stores table, I have that store name, the description, and the location of that store within the mall. Let's say when I pull that information, in that request, I want to extend the data to include some contact information. Wouldn't that be great? So first, I need to go and create a contact info table. And I've actually already done that in my database, but let's go take a look at what that looks like. So here's this contact table, and I'll click into here. And I went ahead and created just some fake phone numbers and then also the website of each of my stores. And the last thing I want to point out, I created this table reference right here so that each of these records in the contact table reference to the appropriate record in the stores table. So that's why you see this icon in stores ID. In order to do that, I just hit this plus button and hit table reference, and then I hit this stores table. And see, that created that. And I don't actually want this again, so I'm just going to delete that. Okay, now let me show you how I would do this add-on. So I'm going to go to my API and into this public API group. And here, once again, are all those CRUD operators for each one of my database tables. So what are we doing? I'm pulling the store information, and I'm extending that request to also get the contact information in that newly created database table. So I'm going to go to this get stores, and it's going to open up with this anatomy of the API. I'm going to click into my function stack right here, and this new window opens up, and I'm going to click output. And here, there's this little yellow button that says add-on. So I can go ahead and click that, and I will create a new add-on. And now Xano asks, which database table do you want to add to the response? So I want that contact table. And now it asks, how do I want the data returned? So we have all these different options: aggregate, existence, item count, list of the items, single item. I'm going to want a list of the items because I want that phone number and website pulled up when I get this store information. And this last step, Xano asks how I want to connect to the database table. So that's why that reference within my contact info to the stores table was so important. So what this dot notation right here is saying, okay, so in the contact table, you want to connect it with the store's ID. That's how those two tables are going to do a join, basically. So I'm going to go ahead and select that, hit next, and then you can choose a name if you'd like, create add-on. Okay, and one more step I want to point out. I'll actually come back and do this, but we can customize the response. So say I only wanted to get the phone number and website, or I can pull all this information. Actually, I'll just select the phone and website right now so that we're not also getting this store ID again, this timestamp, and the ID of the contact info. So I'll go ahead and hit save, and I'll hit done. And right here, we can see that our response is extended with this add-on, and I'll go and run and debug this. But also, there's still these add-on buttons, so you can just continue to add on to really extend all the data in this request. So one last step, just hit save, and now I'll run and debug this to show you guys how this works. So I ran this, and look, here that is. So we get our Apple Store, the description, the location, and then our phone number and websites included. Same thing with Starbucks and also Nordstrom at the bottom. So that's it for add-on. Obviously a very powerful tool. You're able to pull data from other database tables and other data sources through one single request, which can give you a lot of power and flexibility, and obviously create add-ons within add-ons and add-ons, so you can get really creative with that. So with that, I'll see you in the next video where I will go over a marketplace extension and show you how to implement that into my application.